made it live on time. So hopefully some of you will be able to join on live with me. I'll give people a few minutes to join in if they are around, and if not, you are going to be able to watch the recording when I post it. We are chatting today about dilution and making up roller bottles. If you hop on live, say hello and let me know that you're here, and I will wait a few seconds here for you, okay? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get started in case anyone who is on live is getting bored just sitting here waiting for people. So today's topic is one that I get a ton of questions about. I think this is part of what overwhelms people when they start learning about essential oils. And when I teach 101 classes, or if you've ever been to a 101 class, dilution is something that's mentioned in terms of just oil safety, but we don't talk very much about creating blends or making your own roller bottles at home too much, just because it can be quite overwhelming to people. So that's why I thought it would be a good idea to talk about it as a larger group here, and then the video will be posted and you can always come back and reference it, okay? If you're watching live and you have any questions as I'm going along, just post them, and when I see them, I'll answer them, or if I don't get to it, then I will go back after I'm done and just type into the comments there for you, okay? So I'm just going to show you some things as I go along, but essentially, the first thing that I wanted to answer is, why do we even make roller bottles? What's the deal there? So basically, when you buy a doTERRA oil, here's just a random bottle of eucalyptus. Typically, this is what an oil would look like that you're buying. So this is an undiluted 15 ml bottle of oil, okay? When you buy doTERRA oils, you know that you're buying the purest and most potent oils that you can get out there. And we recommend that they're always diluted, no matter what. You always dilute them before you use them, okay? And essentially what dilution means is you're just adding a carrier oil, so some sort of a vegetable-based oil, to your essential oil to make sure that you're not going to have any skin sensitivities, okay? That dilution can be done in your hand, so you could just squirt in your carrier oil, so that could be coconut oil, olive oil, avocado oil, some sort of plant-based oil into your hand, and you're going to put your drops of oil in your hand and just massage it around, and you can do it that way, which is fine. When you start getting into using oils a little bit more, you're likely going to start making some roller bottles, or even just buying them pre-diluted, which I'll talk about as well, okay? When you're using a carrier oil, you're going to want to make sure, as I mentioned, any type of vegetable-based oil will do, but make sure you're at least buying something that's high quality and preferably organic, because if you're going and spending a ton of money on the purest essential oils that you can get, there's no point in gunking them up with a crappy carrier oil. So make sure that you're using something that's high quality, okay? So some might think that diluting an oil will make it less effective, and research suggests that that's actually not true. There's research out there stating that when you dilute an essential oil, it actually helps it to permeate the epidermis. Listen to my scientific words. Permeate the epidermis faster and more efficiently than if you were just using it neat, as they call it. So if you hear the term neat with an essential oil, it's not like that's neat, it's you're using it undiluted, okay? So it will help it to get into your skin faster and make it more, help it to get in more efficiently, okay? So diluting oils also ensures that you aren't wasting, okay? So if you're going and spending your hard-earned money on quality essential oils, you want to make sure that you're not wasting them, of course. And as I mentioned, it's totally okay to dilute them in your hands, but it does end up creating more waste, in my opinion, than if you were to use a roller bottle. Okay. Also, creating roller bottles allows you to have one bottle of oil, but it allows it to be used amongst everybody in your family in their own way. So I have roller bottles that I've created here for the girls. This one's Delaney's, and I'm going to explain why I know that in a second. But this is a combination of lemon, lavender, and peppermint. This is her roller that I use for her allergies. So if I'm buying these oils, then I have the ability to create roller bottles diluted to who they're intended for, and then everybody has the opportunity to use the oil, okay? So more cost effective. So doTERRA has created in recent days the Touch line. So the Touch line has most of the top 10 oils. This is one of their Touch line bottles. This is the On Guard. So these are pre-diluted, which is nice. So if you don't want to get into making roller bottles, or if you're okay making roller bottles, but you like to have the ones on hand pre-diluted that you know that you're using frequently, this is a good way to go. So this one, the Touch roller bottles are pre-diluted and ready to go for kids and adults. I would pre-dilute these a little bit further for infants. Except for I have a lavender one, and that I'm okay using on Ellie because I've tested on her skin and I know that she's not sensitive to it. But something like an oregano touch oil, something that's a little bit of a more intense or a hotter oil, you would want to pre-dilute that a little bit further if you're using it on really little kids. But that's something that you'll get to know as you're going along. So these guys are pre-diluted. doTERRA also has the emotional aromatherapy oils that come in a roller bottle like this, and they are also pre-diluted, and they're amazing. So it's nice to have those available to us, but those are doTERRA's blends, okay? You'll also find, I didn't bring one over here with me, but doTERRA's proprietary blends. So things like Past Tense, In Tune, Clary Calm, those kinds of oils, they come in roller bottles, but they're not pre-diluted. So it's a little bit confusing if you're new to the oil game or if you're new to doTERRA. But the best thing that I can tell you is if you're not sure if an oil is pre-diluted or not, all you have to do is go into Google, pop in the name of the oil. So for example, you could put, this bottle actually says exactly what it is. So it's Touch On Guard. If you type into Google On Guard Touch or Touch On Guard doTERRA Touch On Guard, a PDF will come up for it, and it will tell you whether it's pre-diluted or not. If you were to pop in the Clary Calm blend, which is the women's monthly blend, you'll see in the information in the PDF that it says to minimize skin sensitivities, dilute first. So that's your indication that it's not pre-diluted. But if you have any questions about what are diluted oils that are pre-made from doTERRA and what are not, I'm happy to answer those, okay? Okay, so how do I know how many drops to put in? So I've posted the dilution chart in the group. All you have to do is in the search feature, so it's in the top right hand corner of my group. If you just put in oil dilution chart, it will pop up for you, and it will give you the specifications for people of different ages as well as different sizes of roller bottles, okay? The ones that I'm showing you, any of the doTERRA roller bottles, these are 10 ml bottles. And this is typically what I use. I have a few 5 ml ones over here, but typically they're 10 ml bottles, okay? I'll post that dilution chart in the comments section of just this, just so it's, excuse me, handy for everybody, okay? I'm just gonna show you, this is a holder. Hopefully I don't dump it. Hopefully you can see that. This is a holder that I purchased either at Winners or HomeSense. It's a lipstick cosmetics kind of holder, but this is what I keep. It was in Delaney's room. I've actually got it on beside Ellie's change pad right now. So all of the rollers that I would use, you know, before bedtime, or if the girls were sick or anything like that, I keep this right beside, so I have it handy. And then I've also just got some full bottles of things that I would typically put into the diffuser at night, so they're all nice and handy. This was like $10 or something, so it's a nice thing to pick up if you've got a lot of these rollers laying around, because if you are oil crazy like me, they tend to wind up all over your house and becomes a bit of a shenanigan. So I would recommend getting some sort of holder, and then I've got my extra coconut oil there if I needed to pre-dilute things any further. So I mentioned that I had some separate roller bottles in here for Delaney and some for Ellie. Now, I have a very good friend of mine, Deanne, who is very smart and very organized, and she actually, when she buys her roller bottles, she buys ones with different colored capped lids for her two girls, so she knows which is which. I'm not that organized, nor did I start off that way. So what I would typically do is, this is Delaney's, and each of the stickers has a number on it, so I know how many drops of each oil that I've put in. And I would know for her that her drops are obviously higher than Ellie's, so I can tell whose is whose, and hers has a little D on some of the labels. So as I mentioned, this lemon, lavender, and peppermint is one that I've made up for Delaney when she's struggling with allergies, and I just roll it onto the back of her neck and down her spine, and that helps her super quickly. This is an example of just a 5 ml bottle, so obviously it's about, you know, roughly half the size of the 10 minus the cap. And this is just one that I made up for Ellie. I made her up a couple of 5 ml bottles just because I didn't think that she would go through them as quickly, and I didn't want to waste it, because not only is the oil expensive, but buying yourself these bottles, if you're not going to use them, is expensive as well. Okay, so where do I get my supply? So these roller bottles I typically buy from a company called My Essential Business, and they are based out of Toronto. So I like to buy them through there because you can buy them in bulk, like packages of 6, and they also sell lots of other different kinds of oily supplies. So I like to buy them through there and just sort of do a bulk order. And they also have lots of other great kinds of containers that you can get. So like aluminum spray bottles and, you know, little glass containers and things to make up different creations that you want to make up. I've also got, you know, sort of bottles and containers like these, amber ones. I've got stainless steel ones. So with Ellie, the last time that she got sick, sorry, I'm just grabbing the roller that I was using. This was the roller that I was using for her. So this is cardamom, lemon, and frankincense that I was using when she had a chesty cough over Christmas. Sometimes instead of using a roller bottle, I'll just make something up and put it into this. So there's lots of recipes out there, but you would use a combination of some sort of like a coconut oil with beeswax and then your essential oils. You would melt it all together and then let it come together and cool, so that you're using more of like a Vicks vapor rub versus rolling on the oils. Sometimes it's a little bit easier when, you know, they've got something pretty significant going on and you're constantly putting oils on them. So that's a nice option too. So most of those things are available through My Essential Business. There's a store if you're in London that's called Pretty Naturals. I've really stopped going there to buy my things. I would prefer to buy them through My Essential Business because they are a little bit cheaper through there, and I'd rather buy them in bulk and pay for the shipping once and just get them sent to me that way. You can get this stuff on Amazon. You can really get it anywhere right now. So if you're looking for anything in particular and you can't find it, just send me a message and I will I'll help you to find it. Okay, when you buy your roller bottles, you're going to notice that you have the option of getting, this is extreme close-up, this is a plastic roller on the top of this. You can also get metal ones, and doTERRA is actually making the switch to switching over all of their roller bottles to metal balls instead of the plastic ones, for a couple of reasons. I think that partly because the metal ones roll a little bit nicer. The plastic ones roll just fine. I think it really just depends on which bottle that you get. I've had some that don't roll very nicely. And the metal ones prevent leakage as well. So when you make these bottles, that's why I suggested getting a nice thing that you can stand them up in, like a lipstick holder, so that they're upright and they're not going to leak on you. Typically they don't, but it can happen. I think from here on out, as I purchase them, I'm just gonna go with the metal ones. I think they look a little bit nicer, and they just hold up a little bit better. So your carrier oil, I mentioned in the beginning, any kind of plant-based oil, go organic if you can, because you're spending money on making sure you've got pure essential oils. So make sure that your carrier oil is good quality as well. So this is doTERRA's fractionated coconut oil. The nice thing about this, in addition to the fact that it's a nice high quality oil, is that it's got a little squirty top on it. So you can actually squirt it directly into your roller bottles and it won't make a mess. If you're dealing with something like a big bottle of olive oil or something, you're gonna have a tougher time getting it in. But there's lots of oils that come with a squeezy top on it, but this is available through your back office if you have a wholesale account, okay? Okay, so roller bottle recipes. So if you've enrolled with me, or if I have sent you samples recently, then I gave you a little mini user guide about this big that has lots of different ideas in it. If you flip to the back of the book, it will give you some ideas for different rollers that you can, make up. Another good resource is, this is the Essential Life book. I think the new one has a different cover now, but this is also available through that website that I mentioned, My Essential Business. Typically it will go on sale for about $25, and it's an incredible resource to have, and I recommend it to everybody who has oils in their home, because it's just such a nice book just to have to flip through, because it will tell you about all of the different oils that you have and everything that they're sort of capable of doing. Not everything, but you understand what I'm saying. In the front, it lists 100,000 different ailments, not that many, but tons and tons of different ailments. So I'm looking through everything from, brittle nails to burns, muscle weakness, muscle spasms, dry lips, like anything that you can think of. They're listed alphabetically, and then it will give you, four or five oils that you can try. So in the little user guide that I gave you, it does the same thing. Just obviously the list of ailments is not as long. And when you see those oils listed, it doesn't mean slap all four onto your body. It means try the first one, and if you're not successful with that, then you can move on to the next one, or even try a combination of the two together. So in this book as well, it gives different sections that relate to different parts of the body and different systems in the body. So one of the sections that I was going to share with you is, there's a mood and behavior section. So if you flip through that section, at the end of each section there will be a page where it will list remedies, and it will give you different rollers that you could create. So just as an example, this is a mood one called Lift. So it suggests you do 3 drops of bergamot or wild orange, 2 drops of clary sage, 2 drops of frankincense, 1 drop of jasmine or ylang ylang, and 1 drop of lemon. Any of these would be specifications for an adult unless it was otherwise suggested. There is a whole section on kids in this book, but just assume that it's for an adult. So this book is currently out of stock, but when it becomes available, I will suggest putting together a group order for it so that people can split on the shipping, and I will get you set up with a book if you're interested in having one. It's one I always suggest to people, just to help you see all the different ways that you can use your oils. Okay. Another good resource for blends is if you are enrolled with me with a wholesale account, then you are part of the Whole Fit community. So that oils group, if you go in and use the search feature, search in anything that you're looking for, whether it's allergies, muscle pain, pop that into the search feature, and then at least 10 conversations will come up and you'll get an idea of things that people have tried. So that's another great resource. On Instagram, if you follow me, you'll see that I post basically the same stuff that I do here. If you follow Ange Peters on Instagram, she posts lots of great blends. She's at HOL_FIT. And one of my good friends who loves making different blends up, especially for her kids, she's at Absolutely Essential on Instagram. She's another great person to follow. Alrighty. Does anyone have any questions about anything that I've talked about, or can I clarify anything for you? We've had people hopping in and out live, so I have no idea who's here live right now. So if you have any questions, ask away. If you don't, or if you're too shy to ask right now, you can pop it into the comments section and I will answer them after. Tomorrow I'm going to be talking about the Lifelong Vitality supplements, and I'm still open to suggestions for Friday. Sorry, my phone was ringing. If you guys don't suggest anything, then I will create my own topic. But I hope that you're finding this helpful, the information that I've been giving you this week. And I'm going to make a point of doing this once a week from here on out so that I can provide you with some live information. So if there's no questions, then I will be on my way, and I will see you all tomorrow, and I hope you have a great day. It's turned into winter here again in London, cold and snowy and windy. So I hope you have a great day, and I will see you all tomorrow.